this Daily Mail story that dropped tonight about the bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, according to Daily Mail court filings, all this stuff. And yet, well, first of all, Candace, as always, had to jump on it because this is what Candace does. Anything that looks at all like, sometimes Candace gets a crumb that's like, oh, maybe voting. Where are all my neocons who've been overwhelmed by the non-existent evidence against Tyler Robinson? You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Hope the money was worth your soul. That's called projection, folks, because she's got the dark soul led by money, because it took all of 2 seconds. You diving into the story and people actually doing research to know this story is a nothing burger. Phoenix Ammunition, preferred ammo supplier to the militia industrial complex. They might know a thing or two about bullets. Say this is completely and utterly misleading garbage. The bullet is unable to be identified because it fragmented into a bunch of pieces. And when that happens, they don't do some magic CSI Las Vegas animation or Batman Dark Knight, which was sick. It's sick, but it is Batman. It's a comic book, folks. Animation where they managed to reassemble the bullet and perfectly align the lands and grooves to match a barrel. None of that's real. That's not how science works. Watch all the retards go wild. I bet Candace and Ian buy a new car off this. They sure called it, folks. They absolutely called it. But we have Sean Davis over here. Science of matching bullets to specific rifle or pistol barrels is nonsense and always has been. There's no scientific process that allows you to take a spent round, been deformed and fragmented, and conclusively determine it came from this or that specific firearm. Same goes for matching bullet casings to specific guns. It's 100% junk science. Same goes for matching bullet casings to specific guns. Anyone who believes it's junk has spent way too much time watching fictional network crime data. Courts have finally started rejecting this fake evidence. Well, the courts may have, but the fake MAGA America First Tards, who are the grifters, not the real MAGA, they're all lying, but they're running with it. Owen Shroyer, he couldn't wait to jump in. Wow, no shit. Bullet used. This is a Daily Mail news. Now this is what's interesting. Okay, they all just quote the headline. They don't actually go with the story. Now, if anybody knows the Daily Mail, it's massive circulation in the UK and the US, especially online. However, Daily Mail is also a tabloid. They love to twist those headlines. Now, basically all newspapers do this now. New York Times, Washington Post, you name it, all the fake papers. Headlines are how they sell the news. Why? Because most people don't read the stories. It's just a fact, folks. I'm in marketing. I can tell you how this works. Most people read a headline and that's it. And they pass it along. And so it's easy to hide stuff in a headline. You throw out what you want. Well, if you actually read the story, it goes on to tell you basically what these other guys have said that I just read to you. That just because it doesn't mean necessarily anything. And that also it's that the defense was unable to match it. Well, why were they unable? Because the bullet was fractured into 100 pieces. You just can't do it. I'm sorry. We don't have Batman here. Okay. But Owen Shroyer, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, they're all happy to jump on this because it's spinning their narrative that everything about the Trump administration is fake. And it's all one big conspiracy. And they want you to completely be discouraged. They want you to drop out. They want to sow chaos, which, if we're going with Dark Knight allegories, is exactly what the Joker wanted to do. Sow chaos, seed disruption, and ruin the first movement in modern American history that could actually get us back on track, which is MAGA. Now, thankfully, the polls show nobody's listening to these people, but it doesn't stop them from trying. So they got their little, they got their little treat tonight in a headline served up from the Daily Mail. And I'm telling you, they're going to run with it. They're going to run and run and run. And this is why, guys, though, that the one thing they could actually pull off in this, okay, and that we actually have to be worried about, it's that if enough people buy this, if it spreads enough, if they get enough people, Candace Owens fans on the jury, well, that's enough doubt where Tyler Robinson could walk free despite the evidence. We could be watching another O.J. Simpson deal here, where the jury is so tainted by what's going on in the final, actually not the final, because they're not going to stop, but it'd be one of the biggest just hits against Charlie as he's lying there, like kicking his corpse, letting this guy get off. And that's exactly the kind of chaos they want to push, because if that happens, then they can all claim, oh, see, he was innocent, found innocent by a jury. It was TPUSA all along. It was Erica all along. It's so crazy. The evidence against this kid is overwhelming. Now, I'm not saying, because it would be stupid to do so, I'm not saying he acted alone. I'm not saying he wasn't coerced. I'm not saying he wasn't manipulated. I'm not saying he wasn't MK Ultra or anything like that. That's all possible. And I think highly likely in most cases that this was some sort of conspiracy to take out Charlie. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? They gained a lot. It allowed MAGA to be attacked from within. Charlie was the one holding them off. He was the one that, if you had doubts about Trump, Charlie was the voice of reason in the influencer world that nobody crossed. Tucker, Megan, certainly not Owen Shroyer and Ian Carroll, these frauds. It's like nobody. If you said something or had questions about Trump, Charlie would break it down, explain it, because Charlie was loyal even in his disagreements. He understood what was really going on. He was the one keeping fake MAGA grifters at bay. And that's the real story. See, they lie to you and they say Charlie was the one holding Trump in check from crazier impulses. He was the one holding the neocons off. No, Trump doesn't need help holding the neocons off. He defeated them in the first term. He weeded them out. And now anytime he does anything that might slightly align with something neocons like, well, that's just aligned interests. That's it. Trust me, the neocons don't just want us to go into Iran, disrupt it, break off City of London, set off the oil, let it flow, set these people free, stabilize the Middle East. They don't want all that. They want us to go in, ground troops. They want us to, this is what the neocons do. The neocons, it's a war machine. It's perpetual war. You don't just start wars, you keep them going. That's what neocons want. They are the military industrial complex. That's what Trump defeated them in the first term. That they're no longer even in MAGA. They get excited sometimes, but Trump has already pushed them. There's no one in the administration that you could point to and say full on neocon. Rubio was the only one who used to dance with him, but Rubio had his awakening, and I think he's proven it over and over again. But the ones that weren't weeded out are these other ones who are the fake America First grifters who were planted and have been like behind the scenes, my brain, guys, I just lost the word I was thinking, but they have been trying to undercut Trump's agenda this entire time. And now it's all assets deployed because City of London is scrambling, the deep state's scrambling, as Trump's been triangulating all this, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So they're running with this right now. Just remember, guys, these guys lie about everything. Here's a good example from Owen Benjamin, another big guy in this world. He doesn't have that big a following, but he's well respected. He posts this grieving widow picture of Erica Kirk. He posted just today. Well, the problem is this is a picture from 2016. Of course she looks happy. This is directly from her X feed. Okay, so, these people, they lie. They twist everything, make it look, but they're running. There's another big lie this weekend. Mario Nawfal, of all people, by the way, he's a major Trump hater, and even though he does sometimes post good, up-to-date news, whenever he offers his thoughts and his takes, it's always a shot at what MAGA, what Trump's trying to do. Well, he posted it this weekend about the major escalation that the U.S. or Israel just struck major water sources in Western Iran. Well, of course, the grifters running with this one all weekend. Megyn Kelly freaking out. However, it's a lie. They didn't bomb drinking water sources. They bombed a heavy water facility, which has nothing to do with drinking water. Heavy water is which the hydrogen atoms are mostly with deuterium, a heavier form of hydrogen used in nuclear facilities. It's an intentional disinformation campaign. So guys, psyops abound. We are all watching it over and over. I will continue to break it down. I will continue to show you guys what's really happening because it's thicker than ever. And honestly, I know there are people breaking down this stuff, especially on X. I don't know anybody who's doing YouTube or doing it all in one place. I don't. And so I'm trying to offer that. It's an offering, a service I provide. But listen, the more it's happening, they're getting outed. They just are. People are losing trust for these people. We're finding out more and more who's all there. I mean, this one hurts. And I will say this. I'm not a 100% that Michael Flynn is one of them. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty close. I've just seen too much. I don't trust. However, I'll allow that something else is going on. But Michael Flynn, General Flynn, last week had a big win. And he got his win against the government, which, good for him. He's going to get a payout. He got this letter. And he wrote this big thing about, how Donald Trump signed this letter. And this was everywhere. People are just like, dude, this is amazing. Oh, Donald Trump signed this letter to General Flynn. It must be that he is completely in. And even I paused. I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong. I've seen some weird stuff from General Flynn. I didn't like it. I've called it out. The thread I shared last week had some evidence that seemed to point to bot spreading General Flynn. And connections, seeing him with Candace Owens, all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know what I like here. The whole Joe Kent thing. Well, somebody ran it through AI, had Grok look at it. And according to Grok, that Trump signature is not real. And other people ran through some filters and also determined it wasn't real. I can't say one way or the other. AI can definitely make mistakes. However, AI is also better at diagnosing this stuff than the human eye is. So I know I use AI all the time, and it's only getting better, folks. It's getting better all the time. So this is odd, isn't it? And then I just, another thing noticed in this advertisement, this event they're having, General Flynn, Laura Logan, who's on his payroll, she gets $77,000 a year from General Flynn. They're having this big thing in Washington, D.C., July, and it looks like President Trump and J.D. Vance will be there, except if you read the fine print, it just says invited guests. Now, guys, I can tell you as somebody who's worked in marketing a long time, if you put something like invited guest in there, you're actually saying that they're not coming. But what a way to advertise an event, because you put them as the two biggest faces on there. And I'm just telling you, stuff like this is strange. It's extremely strange. And so when I see General Flynn continually doing stuff like this, I just got to say, or associated with stuff like this, I got to say, guys, I just don't feel good about it. But I will continue to watch carefully and give you guys what I see. And then another thing that is this just made me laugh. Oh, Massie, he was losing his primary right now. He's struggling quite badly in Kentucky. He's now inviting Marjorie Taylor Greene on his MassieMoneyBomb.com. Yeah, somebody needs some money, you think? This is the guy, the principled member of the House, who has never missed a great opportunity to vote against President Trump's agenda. Yeah, the principled member weaponizing the Epstein files to make Trump look bad, lying about the names he had, never producing them, producing some names, and they all turned out to be fake news from a lineup, potentially ruining those guys' lives by calling them out when they had nothing to do with Epstein. Yeah, this is the principled member of Congress, and he keep getting those checks, Massie. The money bomb. And I'm not going to play Marjorie Trader Green, but guys, just this woman. Now, if you're still doubting these guys and me calling them out, well, got a couple of things left. Candace Owens is now just calling out that the French and Freemasons founded America. And is it true that a couple of founding fathers were Masons? Yeah, it is true. But is it also true that the Freemasons, until you get to the deeper levels, is basically just a social club? Yeah, that's also true. There's terrible, terrible things in Freemasonry when you go deep. There absolutely is. And anybody who says otherwise is lying to you. However, the basic levels, it's a Rotary Club. And for most of history, the vast majority of people who've been in Freemasonry are not evil or associated with evil. And it definitely would not have been our founding fathers, because there's simply no evidence that any of them were deep levels. And then finally, guys, Alexander Dugin, who they're all associated with in one way, shape, or other, who Tucker has platformed, Candace has had meetings with. This guy is one of the thought leaders behind. There's a massive report on Dugin that has been released. I have not had time to fully go into it, but I do think I'm going to take the time and process it, break it down, and maybe on a members live, we'll go do a deep dive on Alexander Dugin, just like we did a deep dive on City of London. But he's out there calling for all Muslims to come together to defeat the United States, to take us down, us and Israel, and unique chance to achieve victory over the common enemy. And there you go, guys. This is who is a great thought leader to Tucker Carlson and several others in the grifter movement. So they're going to continue. They're going to keep jumping on all their opportunities to lie to us. But you know, I honestly don't know how anybody still takes these people seriously. It's just gotten so bad. Here's a great AI picture of Alex Jones, Tucker, and Candace all learning from Dugin. The man is evil. He is. He uses a lot of his words in a Christian lens to promote occultism, paganism, Satanism, and the fact that these people who, you know, I once respected some of these people, especially Tucker. So trust me, it pains me to go down this road as well. But we're in the time, and this should tell you guys, this should tell you that things are building. Okay, things are cresting. And because when they're going all out, it's because of concern. You don't send your final warriors, your hidden warriors out. You don't let them go out into the open and show who they really are unless you're losing, and you need to take more risks. And so we're going to keep watching this very closely. I'm going to keep calling it out, because every day more people are waking up to the grift going on. And thankfully, MAGA is still united. Like the poll we saw the other week, where, 90% of, there's been 100% polls. There's been 85% was the lowest one I saw of MAGA approving of Trump. There's a new one today that's much higher. So the truth is, people, we saw Trump take a bullet. We saw Trump take a bullet. We saw what he went through to become president again. We saw how they wanted to destroy him. And so any of these people who are like all of a sudden trying to give us all these reasons to doubt him, it's just not working, which it's a beautiful thing. It's all part of the Great Awakening that has been going on for a while. People are learning to think again, and that's wonderful. And so going forward, I really think we're going to start seeing these guys crash out more and more. And it's possible we see more of them fall. I don't know. I don't know who's left, but I'll be keeping my eye out for that. So.